gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to a post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2023-24 NBA playoffs, or the 2024 NBA playoffs, live from Los Angeles as always, and at the earliest time maybe in like Dime Dropper live history. It's just desperate times call for desperate measures. Your boy's out here live. I got to go to the game later, and the Celtics game starts in about an hour and a half, so let's get this going right now. I finished watching every game last night at like 3 a.m. So I just was like, yeah, there's no point of going live now. I'm just too exhausted. And yes, by the way, you already know the drill before we get started. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Again, for all the people that are watching on Twitter, please do me a favor and go to YouTube. I posted the link to the video right underneath the video that you're watching, the tweet that you're watching. So please do me a solid and come to YouTube. This is where I see your comments quicker. This is where I need that 10,000 subscribers. So get over here. Anyway, we got 4 games to talk about in about an hour, 20 minutes time. So let's knock these out. Before you get, also follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. Keep coming to YouTube. Mods keep telling people to come to YouTube. But anyway, let's start with the Lakers because this is an LA channel. You already know how it goes. Lakers Nuggets rematch, the game I was most excited to see. Now, let's just start with the first thing I'm looking at is how are the Lakers going to guard Jokic, right? Do you start with Anthony Davis guarding him, or do you go with Rui and then use AD as a help defender? They opted to go with the latter to start the game. Had Austin Reeves on Jamal Murray, which we knew was going to happen based on the way that Austin Reeves has been guarding the last 2 months. He's been guarding all the best guards on the other team. D'Lo was on KCP, LeBron on MPJ, and then Anthony Davis on Aaron Gordon. And of course, you know, the Lakers are going to switch 1 through 4, but the Nuggets didn't do much targeting of those smaller guys, really. I mean, they did a D'Lo just a bit, but D'Lo and Reeves are really the guys they wanted to go at, not LeBron, not Rui, not AD. So you're not going to see them go at him like that. Although AD, yes, Rui, they did put in the pick and roll because he was guarding Jokic, and of course, Jokic is the screener. On the other side, Jokic is guarding Anthony Davis, KCP on D'Lo, Jamal Murray on Austin Reeves, Aaron Gordon on LeBron, and then MPJ on Rui. Those are the primary matchups, and of course, the Nuggets going to switch 1 through 4. Rui was in drop. I found that interesting. Jokic was in drop as well, but Rui was in drop. And mind you, you know, he's not a rim protector. He's like a 6'8", 6'9" guy. And early on, you saw the pocket passes for the Jokic floaters and the Jokic layups. And that's always going to be hard to guard. The thing you need to be ready for as the low man is you got to be ready to rotate quickly. And here's what I mean by that. If you let Jokic catch the ball in the middle of the paint, you're fucked. It's over. It's done. He's that level of good. And it's like, I'm watching these games, man, and I feel sorry for Laker fans and everybody else. Like, I think people are so, I don't think people, I guess we just have different basketball lenses, but they don't see what I see with Denver. Denver plays such better basketball than any team in the league to me. It's like it's not even comprehensible. Like, they're so much better to me than everybody else. The only thing that they lack is the depth. I want to see if Boston's smart enough to beat these guys in the finals if they get there, and if the Nuggets do get there, because it's like I'm looking at this shit from a coach's perspective. I don't know how to guard them. I don't understand what to do, and I know other coach knows what to do because Jokic himself is so hard to guard one-on-one. So like I'm not even going to get into the post-up stuff yet. The one-on-one isolation stuff that causes your defense to have to overcompensate and overhelp. Not even overhelp. You have to help. The Jokic as a roller, as a pick and pop guy, as a pick and roll guy, I mean, is so lethal. And of course, Jamal Murray is we've talked about this last year, all playoffs long. He is the amazing partner for him. It doesn't get much better than that. So when you have Jokic, you know, catching the ball in the middle of the floor, or not even the middle of the floor, in the middle of the key, and that's it. It's over. He has that lob to Gordon. He has that floater that he's mastered to a T where he'll find the open shooter. So as the low man rotating, you need to be sharp. You need to be there before the pass gets there. Because unless there's only 2 possibilities of you to get a stop here. 1, you get a turnover, or 2, you rotate so quick that when Jokic is turning the ball are catching the ball, he's turning right into it. Maybe he travels or loses his balance or something. That's very rare, by the way. But what you also need to prevent if you do rotate early is that Jamal Murray has ball pressure on him that he can't just throw a lob over the top to Aaron Gordon. See, there's just so many different ways that they can exploit you with the personnel that they have. And I'm just watching Aaron Gordon and I'm like, they couldn't have found a more perfect person to play with them, like to guard the best players, to be that athletic player that they kind of lacked. I mean, they had Jeremy Grant, so I wouldn't say they lacked it, but Jokic, that, the high-low action when Jokic pulls the big man out of the paint because you have to respect what he can do so much with the ball. Then Aaron Gordon has those duck-ins and those lobs. It's just like, it's unbelievably hard to guard. So the first quarter, though, the Lakers were the aggressor. That's the thing. The Lakers came out great, and it starts with the two stars, LeBron James mainly. Awesome first quarter for him, 2 catch-and-shoot threes. And here's the thing about LeBron. If you're not a Laker fan or a Clipper fan, or maybe if you're not a Laker fan, I should say, because not every Clipper fan watches the Laker games like me, but LeBron is shooting a career high from 3 this year. I mean, that's been an amazing phenomenon. You remember last year, this guy was pretty broke from 3 in the conference finals, but he has been unbelievable this year, shooting 41% from 3. But defensively, I thought he was off to a not so great start. He got spun on the baseline by Aaron Gordon, and Jamal Murray crossed him up in transition and dunked. I also want to say that spoiler alert, I don't think LeBron was good defensively all game. I think he had one nice block in the first half, and then another one where he had a solid rotation deflection and knocked the ball out of bounds against the Nuggets. But for the most part, I don't think he played well defensively, and that's kind of rare for him at a playoff level. And I'll explain why later. But I just laid out 2 examples where he kind of got beat. It is what it is. It happens. Everybody gets beat. D'Angelo Russell, I think, actually started out okay in the first quarter, had 5 points, and LeBron had 12, but I'll talk about him later too. Bron 12 and 5 dimes in the first quarter. They said it was the first quarter that he'd gotten 10 plus points and 5 plus assists since game 2 of the 2018 finals, which that's an interesting stat. But Nikola Jokic had 11 points in the first quarter. And I'll tell you a guy that came off the bench and gave the Denver Nuggets a lift. One of the guys we've talked about this year that's going to get more playing time due to the loss of Bruce Brown, and that's Peyton Watson, who is a guy that I don't even really remember at UCLA at all, but he has good athleticism, good size. We know he can play defense, and the main thing that was a really big time for the Denver Nuggets with Peyton Watson in game 1 was he was knocking down the 3 ball. He had 2 threes in the game, and both of them came in the first quarter. He also got to the basket one time. So Peyton Watson had 8 points in the first quarter for the Nuggets. He was their second leading scorer at that point. Jokic had 11. And for the Lakers, you had LeBron with 12 and D'Lo with 6 and AD with 6. And they led 33-25 after 1. So the Lakers came out solid. They did a very good job defensively on Jamal Murray to start the game. And Michael Porter Jr. was just missing wide open shots. That part was just lucky. He was just missing wide open shots. But Jamal Murray was, 1 for 3 in the first quarter. So far, so good for the Lake Show. By the way, again, if you are on Twitter, I see 150 people in here. Please come to YouTube. That is where I make my bread. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. I'm running on 8 hours of sleep over the last 2 days just because I want to make content for you guys. And, of course, I hold myself to a certain standard. So any donation is appreciated, man. I don't get paid nothing for I get paid a little bit, but not enough. So let's talk second quarter now. Come to YouTube. Moral of the story. The link is all over my Twitter page. One thing I thought was extremely interesting by the Lakers in the second quarter was that Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis were playing at the same time. You haven't seen that much this season. You saw Christian Wood play with Anthony Davis here and there, but not Jackson Hayes and AD. And here's the funniest part. It was with Jokic out of the game. And here's why I think he did it, Darvin Ham. I figured it out. I think what he did it because when Jokic was out of the game, he wanted to blitz Murray because Darvin said, okay, the rest of the guys on this team are not that great. They're not like last year, right? So we're going to blitz Jamal Murray and get the ball out of his hands. Whatever big they use in the action, I'm still going to have another big at the rim to potentially protect the Aaron Gordon lob threat or the backside, whatever. So that's what I think his strategy was. And he knew that if they brought in DeAndre Jordan, he's not comfortable making reads in the short roll. And you saw that there was one time where DJ caught the ball at the foul line. By the way, I will say this to any Nuggets fans watching and anybody who's listening. the fact that DeAndre Jordan and Reggie Jackson are in the rotation for them is very concerning, in my opinion. I don't think those guys are like, they might not get to play as we get further down the line in the playoffs. Like they're going to be problematic in my eyes at this stage of their careers. I think so. And I love them both. I absolutely adore them, but I don't trust them at all. And DeAndre Jordan got fouled one time, but he looked like one of my kids that I coach, where he catches the ball at the high post and he's really indecisive and he's just standing there. It's like, yeah, because you got no trust in your jump shot or your handle, bro. I mean, DeAndre Jordan never had a jump shot or a handle, so he's not that guy for the short roll. So I actually think it was a decent strategy by Darvin Ham, but Jamal Murray started to get going a bit. He hit 2 threes. However, talk about starting to get going. Anthony Davis was cooking in the non-LeBron minutes, and I just love how aggressive Anthony Davis was and has been all season. And again, I want to talk about the jump shot, right? Anthony Davis's jump shot has gotten worse over the last couple of years since 2020. I don't know why, but it has. Now, you saw last season in the playoffs, despite the fact that he had ended the season well, he had a monster of a playoffs. If you kept him outside the paint and you forced him to shoot from outside, whether it be a floater from the foul line or jump shots, his one-on-one prowess, his one-on-one game was not good enough to lead a team to the championship if he's the best player on the team. That was my opinion. He didn't close games very well. Neither did LeBron. But at the same time, LeBron James is 39 years old. Anthony Davis is the man right now. So he's got to be looked at, maybe not as the closer, but he's got to be able to close games offensively and make big shots and create good shots down the stretch of games for the Lakers. Now, this season, Anthony Davis's jumper has been a tad better. I don't have the stats in front of me, but eye test wise, it feels like it's been a tad better. He's shot the 3 ball a little better. But to me, what's allowed Anthony Davis to have the best season since 2020 is he's trusted his body a lot more, and he's going straight into dudes' chests. Like, sometimes he'll post up, but what the thing about AD is he's not a guy that loves the post necessarily. But what he will do is he'll turn and face when he catches on the wing and just go right into your chest. And I think to make up for the fact that, okay, my jumper may not be as good, I'm not as shifty as I once was with all these injuries, going right into dude's chest because he is stronger now. He's really put pressure on defenses all season long. I mean, people wonder, wow, Lakers shoot so many free throws. A lot of it's because Anthony Davis has been so aggressive this year. And I think a large part is hearing the noise of people saying, like, look, been disappointed in Anthony Davis since we won the championship. We can't let LeBron down. I even heard rumblings 2 years ago that people were disappointed. LeBron was disappointed with AD after the championship. Like, just he hasn't seen that hunger for that second ring this season. And by the way, I do believe, because I got it from a really good source, but I think Laker fans were questioning that at some point in the last couple of years. But now I can't question Anthony Davis's hunger. I think he's been very aggressive. So cooking in those non-Bron minutes, couple shots on DeAndre Jordan, but the Nuggets responded with a 10-0 run, and it started with 2 turnovers by LeBron, and then one time where he got blocked by Jamal Murray when he was trying to attack him off the switch, and then D'Angelo Russell started going cold. Ultimately, LeBron made a buzzer beater at the end of the quarter, but the thing about Denver is your margin for error is so small, especially over there, and that's what you notice when you watch championship teams. Seriously, I'm not just doing it to gas them. I'm just telling you what I see and what I've seen for 2 years now. When you make mistakes against like the Spurs of the past, I used to say that with the Spurs and the Warriors. And it's the fact that I'm saying it about Denver tells you that they're starting to be in that realm. When you fuck up against them, they will make you pay. You miss a big shot, you turn the ball over, live ball, they will punish you every time. MPJ, by the way, 9 points in the second quarter. So at halftime, the score was 60-57, the Lakers. The Nuggets outscored the Lakers 32-27 in the second quarter. And in the first half, the Lakers still had a 3-point lead. The concerning part was this. LeBron had 19 points. He was balling at that point. 7 for 10 from the field, 3 for 3 from deep. That shot he made to beat the buzzer was insanely deep. Anthony Davis, 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. So between the two of them, they had 8 assists. He had 18 points. D'Angelo, though, started to go cold from 3. He was 0 for 5 from 3 at halftime, and that would be a theme that continued. But the scary part here was that the Nuggets didn't even play that well in the first half. Jamal Murray was 3 for 11, and the Lakers were only up by 3. That was what the concerning thing was. And you saw. By the way, shout out to the super chats. If you want your comment read right away, I will answer in the super chat. Clippers in 6 says Bones got busy. My mod. Appreciate you, man. But yeah, third quarter. Every time Jokic caught the ball in the post against Rui Hachimura, you saw the double come almost every time from the Lakers. And the thing about Jokic is he's so lethal that sometimes you have to just double one pass away. And that makes the read pretty easy for him. But the thing about it is he makes the right read every time. It's actually insane. Every time. And when you don't double and you let him get the shot off over Rui, he scores with so many different types of jump hooks and up and unders, and the touch that he puts off the glass is ridiculous. And Bob Myers made a comment in the commentary, like sometimes he just throws it up and it goes in. It looks like he just throws it up. There's a method to all this. I mean, his touch is second to none. Like we're talking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar type levels. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like insanity, man. It really is insanity. And like they're showing graphics with Jokic, with these other players in history. And I'm like, bro, like Jokic is approaching territory. Like he's approaching real territory. And again, as I said about mistakes, same applies to this. If you go cold, and part of it was the Denver Nuggets added in defensive intensity, but if you go cold like D'Angelo Russell was going and the Lakers were going, the Denver Nuggets can push the pace on you and run you out the gym real quick. And KCP, Jamal Murray, and MPJ love those transition threes. Aaron Gordon is absolutely fantastic on the break. Then you have Jokic running it all with the ability to get the rebound and just go. And then the altitude on top of that. And the Lakers on top of that also being on the slower side. So in the third quarter, the Lakers shot just 39% from the field. LeBron and AD shot, and Reeves all shot 50%, but Rui was 0 for 1, and D'Angelo Russell mainly was 1 for 5. What stands out to me, though, is that the Nuggets shot 4 more times than the Lakers in the quarter alone, shot 59% from the field, 54.5% from 3. KCP got hot. 4 threes in the third quarter, which really shifted the momentum of the game. But I'll tell you what, 3 turnovers in the quarter for the Lakers to 0 for the Nuggets. And I don't have it in front of me, but I guarantee you several of those, if not all of those, were punished for baskets. Now, when D'Lo was bricking threes, it was very just unfortunate because it's like, you remember the story with D'Lo last year against these guys. He's got to perform. The first 5 minutes, he made those 2 shots. I was like, okay, good start for the Lakers. I mean, good start for him mainly. We've talked about it all year right here with the Dime Dropper channel. It's like D'Lo is the X factor for me. When he plays at a high level, this Laker team is at their best level. But that layup he missed, I mean, that felt momentum shifting. And then when I think it was Murray that got the ball in the corner for 3. And I remember I was watching the game with my dad, and I'm just like, he's making that. Like, you cannot make mistakes against them like that. The margin for error is so unbelievably small. And it makes me even more worried if I'm a Laker fan. I'm being dead honest. The exact opposite of how I felt last year after the first game. I thought the series was going to go like 6 or 7 games last year after the first game. But when you see that Jamal Murray is 9 for 24 and Anthony Davis and LeBron James combined for 59 points and you're losing by 11, I don't know if I feel good, dude. The Nuggets are they just have their number, but they have everyone's number until further notice. Marcino Johnson says Clippers in 6, hashtag Clipper Nation. Appreciate you, brother. The super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Remember, come to YouTube. That's when you can donate. That's where I can see your messages right away. Please come. Great attendance right now. But anyway, so a 13-0 run by the Nuggets, and everything starts with the Joker as a screener, as a ball handler. And I think at this time, this is what I meant by LeBron's defense. I think LeBron was late on his rotations as the low man several times, but also when he was guarding Jokic on switches and whatnot, barbecue Serbian chicken. LeBron can't guard Jokic. That shouldn't be breaking news. He had some solid defensive possessions last year. He had some nice swipes, look, as long as Jokic keeps the ball up high, LeBron ain't nothing for him. And nobody that's 6'8" is anything for him. Kawhi Leonard is the same. And that's what any amazing all-time great center would do with these wings in today's NBA. They think they can go small and you can stop players like this? You think you can stop Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a 6'8" guy, or Hakeem Olajuwon, or fucking Wilt Chamberlain, or Jokic? And the crazy part is Jokic belongs in that conversation now, and he will if he wins a championship for sure. He's actually, I cannot believe that the sacred top 5 centers of all time has this chance of being breached with how great Jokic is. And this is a guy who was picked during a Taco Bell commercial who is like, just unbelievable. I am in awe of the guy. You would think I'm such a big fan of him the way I talk. I am a fan of him, but I don't root for him really at all. I rooted for them before they won this chip, but it's just, I appreciate good basketball when I see it. And I also love that Jokic and Luka Doncic expose everything about like, oh, well, Larry Bird and Magic aren't athletic enough to do anything in this era. I'm like, dude, Jokic cannot even jump over this table that I have this equipment on right now. Like, there's no shot he can jump over this table. Zero. I think I can at least clear it. But he's just freaking amazing. Like, there's just nothing else to say about it. And then, this is where I started to see that the Lakers are going to lose. LeBron was running out of gas. He shot a sidestep 3 with Reggie Jackson guarding him. Total bailout. And then he had a turnover on a cross-court pass. It started going south. But one guy I'll give a shout out to that I thought was actually pretty good, Taurean Prince. For all the shit that he's heard this season, he has been good off the bench. He had 11 points on 4 for 7 shooting and did a good job getting to the basket at times. And he made 1 3. He was 1 for 3 from 3 in 20 minutes. But fourth quarter, LeBron, actually, you know what? When LeBron came out, that's when the Nuggets started to blow it open. They went up by 15 in the beginning of the fourth. The non-LeBron minutes were not good in the second half. And then when LeBron came in, he actually kind of restored order, making plays. I mean, LeBron and AD were still the two guys. Austin Reeves, I thought that he was actually doing pretty solid things, but he just didn't feel aggressive enough to me. He didn't make his 3-ball in this game, Austin Reeves. He was 2 for 6 from 3, but he was 3 for 3 from 2. And I thought that he just didn't look aggressive enough. Maybe that's partially because he's guarding Jamal Murray. And look, as far as guarding Jamal Murray, I have to say, I think Gabe Vincent tried hard. I think he did a pretty good job. I think that Austin Reeves is doing the best that he can. But if Austin Reeves is your best point of attack defender, again, partially this is because Vando's out. But if Austin Reeves is your best point of attack defender, you're not winning a chip, dude. I don't know what to tell you. He's not bad. He's done great over the last 2 months, but we're talking about a lot of fans don't quite understand how hard it is to win championships. This is what I tell Clipper fans all the time. I've watched enough basketball. Just because I haven't seen my team win a championship don't mean shit. You see how invested I am. I don't miss a game of the playoffs. Every year it's like this. It's been like this my whole life. I don't miss a game of the playoffs. I love this. This is when basketball is real. This is when you see the genius of coaches and the genius of great players, when you can game plan against a solid opponent, not when you're, taking overall statistics from a season where you're playing against load managing fraud bum teams that are tanking for the lottery and mixing it with good teams. That's not what this is. This is when the studs show up. This is when you make your legacy. This is what it's all about. And we're breaking down every single damn fucking thing over here. You know what I'm saying? So people don't understand how hard it is to win chips. Laker fans of all people should understand how hard it is to win chips. The margin for error is extremely slim. I don't remember if it was the Lakers or the Nuggets that had a 7-0 run. I think the Lakers had a 7-0 run. To cut it down to 8, Anthony Davis had 6 points, by the way, in the second half on Joker one-on-one. Last season, if you remember the lives, I talked about that he was not taking advantage of Jokic one-on-one enough. But he did in this game. 6 points on the Joker. If anything, I think he should be more aggressive looking to score isolation-wise against him. And again, the Lakers need to understand from a coaching staff perspective, I know who their best offensive player is, but who their best player is. And it's not LeBron anymore. And this game made it even more clear. They need to run. It's been a criticism of Ham all year long and Vogel when he was here. You don't run the offense enough through Davis. Marcino Johnson, thank you for the super chat, says AD and Braun played great in my opinion. It comes down to the others. I have more faith in the Nuggets others than the Lakers. I have a quarrel with that. I do have a quarrel with that. Jokic had an interception on LeBron and dunked it late in the game that basically ended it. But the Lakers were still able to actually cut it down to, I believe, 9. I think it was 110 to 101. By the way, D'Lo at this point was just missing way too many threes. And then Murray's starting to get into it. MPJ's having a good game now. and Gordon's just doing all the little things. But the cherry on top of the sundae was the missed layup sequence by LeBron and Anthony Davis. You know, AD misses a three. By the way, Anthony Davis shooting too many threes for me in this game. How many did he take? 2? 4. That's too much. 0 for 4. And I don't know. Is that partially legs? And LeBron missing the layup at the end. And then the crazy part was LeBron missing the layup. And then Jokic giving him a little shove and then dunking. And he tries the chase down. Let me be honest with you guys. I've watched LeBron James for 21 years. He's the player that I've watched most in my entire life. I've never seen him look like he's not the better controller of a game out there. This is an unbelievably weird feeling where it feels like there's someone that's on his IQ level on the court and is just better than him. Not in his prime, obviously, but just better than him right now. And it's very obvious. It's like there's nothing he can really do unless he just goes nuclear. He needs help. It's not just him. But here's my point. Here's my takeaway. So the Nuggets win the game 114 to 103 to take a 1-0 lead over the Lakers. And the crazy part is it felt like the Lakers' chance to steal. It really did. I don't know if they're going to have a better chance in game 2. We'll just have to see. The Lakers are resilient, so they might. But the Lakers can still play a lot better. I'll talk about what they need to do better, but you know what? Let's just get into that right now. They shot 49% from the field, but just 28% from 3. Again, the Lakers have been shooting really much better from 3 lately, but they're still not one of the better three-point shooting teams in the league. 28% from 3 for them. I will say one thing that's good, 89.5% from the foul line. Denver shot 46% from the field, 36% from the from the three-point line, so better there. So they had 7 more threes made than the Lakers, and then 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Only 6 free throw attempts for Denver to 19 for the Lakers, which again is a theme. The Lakers do usually have more free throw attempts than the opposition. So 14 more free throw attempts, but the Nuggets had 23 more shot attempts. 23 more. 15 offensive rebounds for the Nuggets to 6 for the Lakers. 4 turnovers for the Denver Nuggets. 6, and 12 for the Lakers. Here's the thing. Completely won the possession battle, right? Offensive rebounds, 15 to 6. No rebounds, no rings. Part of that is keeping Jokic off the glass. There was one time where he literally gave you a little swim move to Anthony Davis and threw him on the floor and scored. And I looked back at it, watched the replay, and I was like, AD went down a little bit easy there. Rebounds are everything, are absolutely everything. And then turnovers, the fact that they only turned the ball over 6 times. And this is another main difference between Jokic and LeBron. LeBron's for all the great plays that he's making, all the good reads, all the good passes, he's still turning the ball over and making mistakes. It feels like Jokic does not make mistakes. It feels like he's making the right pass every time, and the worst thing he does is miss shots. 0 turnovers. Like, are you kidding me? With how much he had the ball? Like, I just don't even know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry, Laker fans. Like this, I don't think you can do anything. Like, I think you might win 2 games, like I predicted, but like this team is just too good. This team is just too good for maybe anyone. Oh, should I read the lines first or just get right into it? Okay, let's talk, right? D'Angelo Russell wasn't good enough, period. Point blank. And it's the same story from last year, right? He's been great all year. He was 6 for 20, though, and 1 for 9 from 3. I'll take the 5 for 11 from 2. He needs to just shoot better from 3. He needs to make his open threes. 13 points for him, 3 assists, 2 steals. The good thing is he only turned the ball over 1 time, but 1 for 9 from 3 in 41 minutes, it's no good. Lakers went 9 deep. Nuggets went 10 deep. Lakers went with Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Taurean Prince. I'm going to just get the bench guys out of the way because it's all about the starters. Jackson Hayes only played 4 minutes, 0 points, was only in the first half. Spencer Dinwiddie played 13 minutes and was extremely quiet, almost irrelevant. A donut, 2 rebounds and an assist. Gabe Vincent, I thought he played hard defensively in the minutes that he got. He played 8 minutes and had a donut. And then Taurean Prince, as I mentioned earlier, 11 points and 4 rebounds in 20 minutes. Now for the starters, every one of them played 31 minutes or more. Rui Hachimura needs to be more aggressive. They need to find a way to feature him more. He only got 4 shot attempts off and he shot 50%. But the thing is, he is guarding Jokic. So, and let me just address that, by the way. I think you might need to scrap that idea. I just don't think it works. Put him on Jokic. He got a block or two on him, but the thing is, he's also your best player. And you're going to tire him out offensively. That's when you need Reeves, D'Lo, LeBron to step up. I mean, you have to try anything at this point. Like, I don't think Rui and having AD roaming is it. Like, you might as well just put the best defender. Anyway, Rui Hachimura. So I say he needs to be more aggressive, and they might need to change that defensive scheme. Reeves, he needs to be more aggressive too. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 ball, 0 turnovers is good. 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. Just not enough shot attempts. He's got to get more aggressive, especially if Jamal Murray is going to guard him. So 37 minutes for Austin. D'Lo, I just mentioned, it's got to be much better. Anthony Davis, to me, is the only player besides Torian Prince who I thought was good enough for them to, like, if he plays this way, they can win the series. Like, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, 2 turnovers on 12 for 23 shooting and 8 for 9 from the foul line. So I love that. But my biggest thing is threes. 0 for 4. Don't need so many of them. Take 2 at most, and that's it. Go to the mid-range. Played 45 minutes. I thought he was really good. He just continues to be awesome, but they got to look to just continue to run through him. Now, LeBron, I'm going to read his stats for a second. 27 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block on 10 for 16 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3, 4 from the line in 41 minutes. Those stats sound amazing. There's a lot of context left out there. His defense wasn't good enough all night, in my opinion. He just wasn't. Secondly, 7 turnovers. So over half the team's turnovers are coming from you, right? On top of that, he had 19 at halftime, which means that he only scored 8 points the rest of the game. He only got 6 shots off the rest of the game. He was 0 for 2, and one of those shots that he missed was that layup. The fact that he only got 6 shots off is telling you a very obvious thing, and he missed both of his threes. He was exhausted. And we saw it against New Orleans. We've seen it for 3 fucking years since that injury with Solomon Hill. And it's normal. He's old. But this is the elephant in the room that Laker fans don't want to address, or people don't want to address. LeBron has a hard time closing games against good teams right now at this stage of his career. He gets tired. He just does. And you know what? He might. And you know, I say this knowing he's one of the leaders in fourth quarter points. I know he is. But the fourth quarter is a 12-minute quarter. When I'm talking about closing games, we're talking last 3 to 5 minutes. I'm not saying he hasn't done it. He has done it. Better this year than last. This is the highest level. This is what I go back to. It's about the highest level. LeBron's stamina is second to none. He's a specimen. He's one of a kind. But you're relying on a 39-year-old to be your main ball handler, to play solid defense, and to close the game. He was the main ball handler, and he played well. That's not going to be good enough. Was he worse than D'Lo? Should he have more blame than D'Lo? No. But if you think that's good enough, fine by me. You have a low standard, and you don't understand what this is going to take. And this is why I said that I don't think LeBron's top 10 anymore. He's like 11th or 12th to me in the league, because even though I still take him top 10 in the playoffs, this matters. Like, he's older. Like, it just fucking matters. Anyway, Lakers, we'll see how this goes, man. Let's read the lines for the Nuggets. Peyton Watson. He didn't have any points after that 8-point stretch, but 8 points on 3 for 6 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3 in 14 minutes. Justin Holiday, donut, 0 for 2 from the field in 6 minutes. Both the shots were threes. DJ, 4 points, 2 rebounds on 1 for 1 shooting, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Unbelievable. Only played 9 minutes, though. He's just there to relieve some pressure with Jokic out. Remember last year they went with Jeff Green and what's his name? Aaron Gordon playing small ball 5. Reggie Jackson, 9 minutes, 3 points, made 1 3, 1 for 4 from the field, took some horrible shots. I don't know about Reggie. Love him, though. Christian Brown, he struggled from the field whenever I watched him this season. 2 points on 1 for 5 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3 in 18 minutes. Then talk about a team that's starter heavy. That's the thing about Denver. When they're missing one of their starters, everything changes. When they got all 5, They're the best cohesive 5 in the league. Let's go with Aaron Gordon first with 32 minutes, had an amazing game. 12 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, good defense, 7 assists. Wow. 5 for 11 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. So you're going to see the Lakers keep letting him shoot. 2 for 2 from the foul line. And then KCP, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals on 4 for 11 shooting, 4 for 10 from 3. And then you had MPJ, started slow, but he got going. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks and a steal on 8 for 15 shooting, 3 for 7 from 3. MPJ, solid performance. And then Jamal Murray with 22 points, 6 boards, and 10 assists. Overall, solid stat line, but he shot 9 for 24, 4 for 9 from 3, but he just made big shots, 2 threes in the fourth. And then Jokic, the player of the game, 32 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, no turnovers on 15 for 23 shooting, 1 for 3 from 3, 1 for 2 from the foul line. Best player in the world. Now we're going to shift gears to the Eastern Conference, talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. So I was very interested in this game. 2 defensive-minded teams, and that's exactly what you saw. A defensive slugfest completely. And also not very good offensive teams. I predicted Cavs in 7. I may have been a little generous there. I just wanted to see who did the Cavs throw on Paolo Banchero. That's what I really wanted to see. And to start the game, they went with the Magic actually did something very interesting. They went with Jonathan Isaac starting. Now, this is what was annoying about not being able to get a Magic fan to preview the series with me. That's why I just did it on my own yesterday. And it's timestamped if you want to see what I said. But Jonathan Isaac starting at the 5, I thought Wendell Carter was starting at the 5. And obviously, when he got injured, Goga Bitadze started at the 5. But I was like, okay, you're not going to start a center against a team with basically 2 centers? I was a little confused. And so they had Paolo Banchero guarding Evan Mobley. And what was so weird was they put him in drop, Isaac and Gordon. Banchero. They put him in drop coverage. They weren't even switching everything. So that was so weird to me. A very strange strategy. As far as the Cavs side of things, they had Strus guarding Franz Wagner, Evan Mobley on Paolo Banchero, Darius Garland on Gary Harris. Gary Harris on the other side was guarding Donovan. Jalen Suggs was guarding Garland. I was a little surprised at that. I thought it'd be the other way around. Isaac was guarding Jared Allen. Paolo Banchero was guarding Evan Mobley. And Franz Wagner was on Max Strus. Cavaliers came out firing to start. Firing. Donovan Mitchell was hitting. Evan Mobley hit 2 threes. And remember, last year, the New York Knicks dared Evan Mobley to shoot. And he and Jared Allen not being able to hit a shot outside the free throw line was the reason why their offense was so bad. And then made that made life tougher for Garland and Donovan Mitchell, who were also not quite good enough themselves. So Donovan and Evan Mobley started the game out well, came out pretty hot, and the Cavs had Jared Allen finishing well on the roll as well. Now, Paolo and Isaac being in drop just kind of confused me, but the main reason was because, actually, no, that part didn't really confuse me. What confused me was if they're going to do that, why not start Wendell Carter? But especially when he's one of your better 3-point shooters too. I know he's had an injury, but let me know if you've been watching the Magic. But the problem is they don't want Gary Harris or Jalen Suggs to switch on a Mobley and Allen. So that's why the Magic don't concede that switch. But as far as the Cavs bigs, they were both in drop. As I said, Jared Allen was finishing well on the roll. Darius Garland finding him for a couple. And good starts for Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. And somebody else who I thought came in the game and made a good impact was George Niang. He did a very good job on Paolo Banchero. And it's interesting because, he's so much less athletic than him, but he has the strength. And right now with Paolo, you're going to let him shoot. You're going to go under screens. You're going to make him do all that stuff. Beat you over the top or run through you. And sometimes he will run through you. But Niang did a pretty good job. Cavs went on an 8-0 run in that first quarter. And Evan Mobley, after one, had 10 points in the first. So you love to see it from your former USC Trojan. And then Donovan Mitchell also had 10 points. And Darius Garland had 4 points and 3 assists. That was all in the first quarter. Donovan played the entire first quarter, as did Paolo Banchero, and basically Gary Harris guarding Donovan Mitchell. And the score after one was 33-26 Cleveland. Now, second quarter, the Magic, it was interesting. They had a lineup with Paolo and Franz out. And they did a pretty decent job. They were switching 1 through 5. But when they were doing that, when they were switching 1 through 5, I don't know why they were allowing Cole Anthony to switch onto Evan Mobley. I don't understand the logic there. And several times I loved that Evan Mobley went right to the post and took advantage of that. Barbecue chicken. That's what Evan Mobley can do. And you love to see that because that's what makes it feel like you're going to take the next step in his game to be aggressive as a scorer. He had 6 points in that second quarter. So 16 points at the half for Evan Mobley. Here's the thing, though. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland kind of cooled down in that second. They only had a combined 4 points. And when I say combined, all 4 of those were Donovan. Darius Garland was 0 for 3 in the second. And Donovan Mitchell sat out half the quarter. So the Magic were able to get stops. Went on a 9-0. I'm sorry, no, that was the wrong quarter. But they were able to get stops. Mo Wagner came in and he was causing a ruckus, just trying to get to the basket, rebound, be physical. He was playing really hard. And he and George Niang got into it for a second. Tempers were flaring. You love to see that. Lots of fouls in this game, lots of physicality. And that's going to be coming from 2 of the best defensive teams in the league. This is, my uncle would say, good old-fashioned East Coast hard-nosed basketball. So you love to see it. But the offense, pretty stinky on both sides. As far as Cleveland, though, tough rim protection, man. Solid defense overall by everyone. I mean, Garland to Mitchell to Okoro to Niang, Strus, everybody playing good D. Okoro, as he's had a great leap of a year. And we talked about it all year with Orlando. They don't have the shooting, man. That's why they're not going to win a series this year. They just don't have the shooting yet, and their best players aren't good enough scorers yet to make up for it. Paolo had 5 turnovers in the first half. So at halftime, the score in the second quarter was 15-20. The Cavs won the quarter. So they were up at halftime by a score of 41-53. Paolo Banchero was efficient at halftime. He was 11 points on 4 for 7 shooting, but he had 5 turnovers. Felt like the Cavs were in complete control. But then the third quarter, that's when the Magic made a little push. Jalen Suggs got aggressive. He had a steal and a dunk and threw it down. Then he made a 3 to cut it down to 8. And then, so they went on a 9-0 run. But it was just a brick fest for both teams for a while. Part of it's good defense, part of it's lack of shooting. The Cavaliers missed 18 straight threes after they started the game 5 for 5 from 3. And a lot of those were open and some decent looks. I actually didn't really have much of a problem with the looks. They were just bricking. They were just straight up bricking. So not a pleasant offensive watch. Banchero, I said he was in drop, but guarding Evan Mobley. The Magic cut it down to 5, but then Donovan Mitchell kind of restored order, had 7 straight points for the Cavs, going to the basket. And here's the thing about Donovan. The Magic, I mean, they have a lot of bodies to throw at Donovan, right? But here's the thing about these players in the playoffs, and you're going to see with SGA tonight probably, and Luka and Paul George hopefully as well. But these elite players, yeah, you can have good bodies to guard them. When push comes to shove, nobody can really guard them. You know what I mean? Without fouling. One-on-one. Like, when these guys are in their bag, there's nothing you can do. Donovan Mitchell is one of those guys to me. Now, speaking of in their bag, Paolo Banchero, 8 points in the third quarter, a lot of it on the mid-range. I love the pull-up when teams, when he gets the ball and he's not running pick and roll, he's kind of going one-on-one. He has that pull-up jump shot. And in the third quarter, Paolo Banchero had 8 points on 3 for 6 shooting. He played the whole quarter basically, as did Gary Harris, essentially. But Karis LeVert, after the Paolo Banchero, jump shots, he had 2 straight and ones for the Cavs that were absolutely huge. And in the last 4.5 minutes of the quarter, the Cavs ended on a 13-2 run. So they just restored order. Every time the Magic made a push, they basically restored order. I want to talk about Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I thought their defense was just so good, especially around the rim. Evan Mobley, in every facet, his defense was good, whether guarding on the perimeter, guarding one-on-one, help defense, active hands. I mean, those two are just phenomenal. And, the Magic still made another run in the fourth quarter with the Wagner bros leading the way. 11-0 run. Franz started making some threes. Mo Wagner got to the line. Franz had 10 points in the fourth. Mo Wagner had 6 points in the fourth. So there you go. 16 of the 25 points, majority of the points of the Magic in the fourth came from the Wagner bros. But you know who I thought closed this game, and it was good to see it? Donovan Mitchell. He's been out for a while. He's had some rough postseasons lately. Last year, he was not good enough against the Knicks, and none of the big four really were of this Cavs team. And he closed this game. Big shots, big 3 on the right wing. And then Darius Garland ended the game with a sidestep 3 over Paolo Banchero. Cleveland Cavaliers looked like the team that had been there before. After last year, they got bullied and looked like the team that had never been there before. And it's mainly Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. I mean, Jared Allen got absolutely bitched by Mitchell Robinson last year. For him to come out and look like the aggressor, like, yo, if you're not going to play a center, by the way, Jamal Mosley got to adjust. Put Wendell Carter back in the starting lineup. I don't know what that strategy was. And don't let Cole Anthony switch on to Evan Mobley. But offensively, it's just going to be a matter of if the Magic can produce enough points, if they can hit enough threes to keep up. Cleveland, they look like the team that's been there. And I think they got to win this series. Like Donovan Mitchell, he's got to get a series win. It'd be nice to see the Cavs win a series for the first time since LeBron. But solid win for the Cavs. This was not the game for the Magic to take. I think game 2 will be far more competitive. The fourth quarter was 25-24 in favor of Orlando. Cleveland won the third 20-17. So 97-83 Cavs win game 1. How often do you see a game in the modern NBA where both teams score under 100? Part of that is officiating. By the way, I also feel like the officiating from 2022 onward is less ticky-tack and more physical game being called than 2017-21. Just my opinion. But let's read the lines. For the Magic, they went 10 deep. Joe Ingles off the bench. 15 minutes, 1 point. Very quiet, 0 for 2. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Cole Anthony was awful, in my opinion. 4 points, 0 for 7. They need much more. 0 for 4 from 3, 4 for 4 from the line. Markelle Fultz, not enough either. A donut, 0 for 4 from the field. Because that's just weird. He's a good player. Why after the April 10th game against Milwaukee, he stopped getting 20 minutes in games? I don't understand that at all. But okay. Wendell Carter off the bench played just 15 minutes, and he had 3 points on 1 for 3 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3. Mo Wagner, he was the best bench player for the Magic for sure. 10 points, 5 rebounds. The Cleveland crowd already hates him, which is awesome. We got a little villain story. 4 for 8 from the field for him. 0 for 1 from 3. Then the starters, all of whom played 29 minutes or more. Jonathan Isaac with 29 minutes. It's also just good to see Jonathan Isaac play playoff basketball. His defense is exceptional. 10 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. Why don't you play Wendell Carter more so then you can, or even Goga, and then play Isaac against Mitchell and see how it deters him? I think it would be worth a shot. Gary Harris, I thought his defense was pretty good, but offensively 0 for 6, 0 for 5 from 3 with the donut. Like, just too many guys with 0 field goals made. Ingles, Anthony, Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris. Then Suggs shot terribly. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He does all the little things, but 4 for 16 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. Got to be better if you want to win this series. And then the dynamic duo. Franz Wagner, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks on 7 for 15 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3, and 2 for 4 from the line. Here's what I'll say about Franz. I thought he was pretty good, but like a little bit of it was too little too late. He needs to be more aggressive. And that's one thing I have a problem with Franz is I think that oftentimes he doesn't look to be an aggressive enough scorer. And maybe he is just a guy that, plays the right way, plays fundamental, gets his teammates involved, can do a little bit of everything. And that's maybe one of his weaknesses. He's not a great scorer, but I think he can afford to be more aggressive. Like the fact that he only took he took less shots than Suggs. I mean, you don't want that. Paolo Banchero, he was good though to me in his playoff debut. I thought he was good. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Actually, you know what? Not good enough because of this turnovers. 9 turnovers? Oh my God. Take better care of the ball. Other than that, you weren't bad. 9 for 17 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and also free throws, 4 for 8 from the line. So forget what I said. Paolo Banchero was not good enough. The splits are horrific to look at for the Magic. 33% shooting, 22 from 3, 63 from the line. And look, a team should not be shooting 37 threes when they're missing that many, I think. You got to get different shots. But the Cavaliers, 9-man rotation. Sam Merrill only played 4 minutes, had a donut. Karis LeVert, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Those 2 and 1s were absolutely massive. 20 points for him. 5 points for him in 20 minutes on 2 for 8 shooting, 0 for 1 from 3, so he can play better. Isaac Okoro played 19 minutes, had 4 points and 2 rebounds on 1 for 2 shooting, 2 for 2 from the line. I thought he was good. George Niang, in my opinion, was actually the best reserve, and you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at his box score stats. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. But he was 1 for 7 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3, but 3 for 4 from the line. He was a plus 13, which was tied for the highest of any Cav, and it matched the eye test. Good defense and making the right plays. And then the starters, all of whom played 33 minutes or more. Have you noticed that there's a common theme here with all the teams? Starters time, man. Playoffs. Darius Garland actually played the least of them all. 32 minutes, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. 5 turnovers, though. He's got to keep that number down, but not bad. 6 for 11 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. Thought he played well in the fourth, which is what matters. Max Strus, 7 points, 9 rebounds. So way to find a way, even though you're 1 for 5 from 3, to contribute. 1 assist, 1 steal. Did have 5 turnovers, though, which is insane. Max Strus needs to turn the ball over less. Geez, how many turnovers for both teams? Let's see. Cleveland had 18. Magic had 12. 18 turnovers and still winning a game by 14 is a lot. That just tells you how bad Orlando's offense was. Jared Allen. For me, the player of the game, honestly. 16 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals on 60% shooting, 6 for 10, 4 for 6 on the foul line in 35 minutes. He was just magnificent, in my opinion. Defensively, finishing on the roll. And he's got some making up to do for that series against Mitchell Robinson. Then you have Evan Mobley, who had 16 points and 11 rebounds on 6 for 12 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3. So I don't think he scored in the second half, which, again, you want it to continue to be more aggressive, especially when the Cavaliers are only scoring 44 points and a half. And then Donovan Mitchell, 30 points. Can argue he was the player of the game. 3 assists, 3 steals on 11 for 21 shooting, 3 for 8 from 3, 5 for 5 from the line. Did have 4 turnovers, though, but Donovan, beast, had 9 in the fourth, and Garland had 8 in the fourth. So 17 points of your 24 from your best 2 players. If you're Cleveland, you will take that. They lead the series 1-0. By the way, if you are watching on Twitter, I see 419 people watching on Twitter. Come to YouTube. I want to get 100 people on here. 77 are on right now on YouTube. Let's get to 100. So come to YouTube. The live link is there, okay? Let's talk about now the Timberwolves and the Phoenix Buns. This game went exactly like I expected it to go. The Phoenix Suns are just not big enough. The Wolves have way more depth, and it's going to take the Phoenix Suns to play out of their minds, in particular, their 3 best players. Their margin of error might be even thinner than the Lakers. The Minnesota Timberwolves showed everybody yesterday that they are different this year. They are no joke. This is why they're the second best Timberwolves team of all time and have a chance to be the first. They guard. Straight up. They guard. Let's look at the matchups to start the game. Mike Conley on Grayson Allen. Jaden McDaniels on Devin Booker. Ant on Bradley Beal. Here's what I thought was interesting. They started with Gobert on KD. That got cooked real quick. Then they switched to Towns on KD. But here's the thing about KD. He was amazing. And I don't really have anything bad to say about him in this game. He was making everything in the mid-range. I loved how aggressive he was getting to the mid-range and not settling for threes. He might need to take more threes, though, because he was 2 for 2 from 3. But 31 points, 7 rebounds on 11 for 17 shooting, and 2 for 2 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the line. I'm not really going to argue with that. But 5 turnovers. Again, when I say margin for error is slim, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. You can't turn the ball over 5 times on the road. At one player, you can't. So maybe he wasn't good enough, but he was damn good. I mean, if anybody has the least amount of blame to garner, it's Kevin Durant. On the other side, KD was guarding Towns. Nurkic was guarding Gobert. Grayson Allen was guarding Conley. Booker was on McDaniels. And Bradley Beal, just like E said in the preview, and by the way, that was a really good preview, Phoenix and Minnesota. Go check that out with a Suns fan and a Wolves fan, because it's still relevant for the series. E said that, what's it called? Bradley Beal has been one of their best defenders this year, and he's been their best defender of the big 3 recently. So the fact that he was guarding Edwards, that showed that he was right. And I thought that Beal did a really solid job defensively. Both bigs were in drop coverage. I think basically every big was in drop coverage at the beginning of the game. Conley was not being allowed to switch on to Devin Booker. So again, the Wolves coaching staff, I love how seriously they take their defensive matchup. They don't just switch everything willy-nilly. They are very selective. KD, as I said, was in his bag in the first quarter. He had 11 points in the first quarter, all coming from just him getting to a spot, pulling up. Devin Booker was getting sped up a lot in the beginning of the game by McDaniels. He was struggling in the first quarter. Let's take a look at the first quarter stats. KD, 11 points on 5 for 9 shooting. I love that he shot 9 shots too. Devin Booker played the whole first, 2 for 5 from the field for him. Now, Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker checked in the game. This is where the Wolves have a big advantage, is the bench. Naz Reid was getting his name chanted throughout the game. And by the way, oh my God, that Minnesota crowd was amazing. Unbelievable. So sick. All wearing white and all going nuts. Nickeil Alexander-Walker came in and did what he's been doing all season. Playing great defense, finishing around the basket, knocking down the open three. And the funny part is, actually, the Suns had a good first quarter, but they just missed some layups. And that was the only reason why they weren't winning after one. It was, actually, no, they were winning after one, 28-27, even with the missed layups. Second quarter, it was basically neck and neck the whole way. The refs weren't calling shit. Anthony Edwards was getting really pissed. And I think this is what let the Wolves get going. Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns was being aggressive and looking to post up KD. Because here's the thing about the Suns, and we talked about it in the preview. Cat's going to have a favorable matchup all series. All series. He's going to be guarded by 4s a lot. If he wants to get aggressive, get in the post and dominate. And he was doing that against KD. He was eating on KD. And again, it goes back to that LeBron Jokic conversation. KD is 7 feet tall. But when Karl-Anthony Towns is being aggressive, there's not much KD can do. He's just too light in the ass. Karl-Anthony Towns, he had post-game at Kentucky. He still shows it. And how about this second quarter from him? 11 points, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, 3 for 4 from the field in 7 minutes of that second quarter. So that's what you love to see if you're a Wolves fan. And they needed it because Ant-Man had 3 fouls and 4 turnovers at the half. He wasn't really able to get going. He only had 10 points. Now, the Suns were switching the guards on a Cat, by the way. It wasn't just KD that was getting bullied. They were switching their guards like Beal, Booker on a Cat. The Wolves, towards the end of the quarter, went on a run with the little zone, and it caused a couple of turnovers. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jaden McDaniels at the forefront. And you know, the one thing I will say, though, for Phoenix defensively, it was a solid defensive half by Yusuf Nurkic. He was blocking some shots, playing decent defense and drop coverage, coming out when he needed to contest threes. So I actually thought he wasn't that bad. But when you just look at the defensive difference from Phoenix to Minnesota and the depth, I mean, it's just not even close. And the main takeaway for me at halftime was, from watching from Phoenix's perspective, because I was watching it from Phoenix's perspective, is that Devin Booker was 3 for 9 with 7 points. Like, that's with the lack of depth that this team has. Their big man rotation is nowhere near Minnesota. They don't have a rim protector like Gobert behind them. They don't have the point of attack defenders like Minnesota. They don't have the depth of Minnesota. Devin Booker needs to be much better than that. Much better. It's non-negotiable. Third quarter, the Suns switching 1 through 4, and so are the Wolves. And Karl-Anthony Towns was being attacked by Phoenix. Grayson Allen was being attacked by Minnesota. KD was cooking again in the quarter, 10 points for him in the third. Bradley Beal was also starting to get going in that third quarter. There was one time we had a beautiful pullback, and you can see that Beal, he's still going to be much better than Chris Paul in this postseason, than Chris Paul was last season, I believe. KD played the whole third, was 4 for 4 from the field in the quarter with 10 points. Bradley Beal had 7 points in the third. As for the Wolves, it was the Anthony Edwards show in the third. He was unbelievable. And the one thing I love about the Ant-Man, I mean, there's a lot of things I love about the Ant-Man, but the one thing I've seen is the consistent improvement every year. I remember in 2022 when we did the lives every game for his Grizzlies series, we said that he doesn't embrace the mid-range. He's no mid-range right now. It's just threes and layups and at the rim. Last year we saw more of that, but this year we've seen him really embrace it. And in this game, I don't think he settled for too many threes at all. Let's see how many he took. 8, 4 for 8. And a lot of them were just like rhythm, you know? He was getting downhill, stopping on a dime for pull-up jump shots, going both ways. He had that nice bank shot pull-up going left. I mean, he is just unbelievable. And there were at times Kevin Durant guarding him. He started making those threes. Building started roaring. And this is at the same time where Gobert is having such a good game on both ends of the floor. He's rebounding. He's finishing around the basket when he's getting a chance. I mean, he is he's looking good, man. He's looking good with this point of attack guys he's got with him. Like straight up. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I mean, even Naz Reid attacking or not attacking closeouts, closing out his length, his recovery is also good. And there were times where Naz Reid was guarding KD or guarding one-on-one, poking the ball away. I mean, he was just everywhere. He was getting his name chanted. Rudy was getting his name chanted. I mean, it was just interesting to see Rudy Gobert have so much love on his side. He had that turnaround, like bank shot that was kind of bullshit, and that really changed the momentum of the game. And again, Booker is still playing like ass. He's still missing every shot, and no role players for the Suns are making shots. Eubanks came in and started hedging the screens, and then after that, the Suns just started hard doubling Ant. And the other guys, the McDaniels, the Nickeil Alexander-Walker, these guys were making the Suns pay. They were blitzing with Nurkic, the Suns, to start the fourth quarter before they just were like, fuck it, we're going to go small with the big three, Eric Gordon and Royce O'Neal. And Royce O'Neal was like the only Suns role player that felt like made any threes. But speaking of the role players, the Wolves, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid. Kyle Anderson got injured in this game, by the way. I hope he's okay. But, man, this Wolves team is the real deal. The only thing I'll say was Booker was getting to the line more in the second half. But the cherry on the sundae was made with Anthony Edwards' steal and dunk. I believe it was on KD. KD got hit from the blind side. Ant-Man was the best part on the court in the game overall. But also, I mean, you can make an argument that KD was right there with him. It's just that Ant-Man has much better teammates. But this Wolves team is serious. The final score, 120-95. This absolutely was not the game for the Wolves to win. I'm sorry, for the Suns to win. But again, their margin of error is very thin. 34-23 in the second quarter in favor of the Wolves and 31-21 in the third quarter in favor of the Wolves. That was, what made the difference. And the Ant-Man had 18 points in the third. I mean, if you go back and watch that quarter, man, that was so electric. The Suns, I mean, I love EJ, but you have to, you're there for one reason, and that's to get buckets. You're not a very good defender anymore. 21 minutes, 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. Donut. Royce O'Neal, he was actually the only other guy making shots. 14 points, 4 rebounds on 5 for 10 shooting, 4 for 8 from 3. But it felt like some of them were just a little too late. He made 2 of them in the fourth, so he made 2 of them otherwise. So I thought he was pretty good, to be honest. Grayson Allen, the league leader in three-point percentage. He's been in a slump lately, and he continued to be. 4 points, not great defense. I mean, he's always going to try hard on defense, but he's not great. 0 for 3 from the field. All those shots were threes. His only points came at the foul line. Need better. Yusuf Nurkic, not too bad, in my opinion. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 2 turnovers, though. I mean, again, he's not the best starting center in the world, but I thought he was okay for what they needed from him. And 27 minutes to play, 4 for 6. And then the big three, starting with Beal, 15 points, 6 assists, 3 steals. 6 for 10 shooting is not enough. Not enough at all. There's no reason why Royce O'Neal should be shooting as many shots as you. 1 for 3 from 3, 2 for 3 from the foul line. Beal had 0 in the first. 0. So he needs to be better. Devin Booker needs to be much better. He's the biggest reason they lost. 18 points, 5 assists on 5 for 16 shooting and 2 for 6 from 3. 6 for 6 from the foul line in 38 minutes. Just not good enough. That's not the Devin Booker that I know. KD, the man. 31 points, 7 rebounds on 11 for 17 shooting, 2 for 2 from 3, 7 for 9 from the foul line. Sorry, guys. Guys, come to YouTube. If you're on Twitter, please come to YouTube. Okay, I beg you. And now for the Wolves. Oof. Monty Morris played 10 minutes, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on 1 for 3 shooting. His shot was a fall away in the second half. Kyle Anderson played just 5 minutes before he got hurt, 2 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 29 minutes, 18 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 4 steals, and he was a game high plus 28 on 7 for 12 shooting and 4 for 9 from 3. He was incredible. My God, that stat line just speaks for itself, and he did so well defensively as he has done all year. Naz Reid, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, 4 for 10 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, plus 22, forced a lot of turnovers. He was awesome. Then the starters, all of whom played 27 minutes or more. Here's the scary part for the Suns. Mike Conley didn't even shoot well. But the thing about Conley is he's not going to do anything else to bother your team. He's going to miss open shots, and that's about it. He's going to make the right play. He's going to pass the ball. He's going to get everybody involved, and he's going to play good defense. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, to 1 turnover. So there you go. 2 for 12 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 27 minutes played. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's still working his way back from injury, but this was by far his best game back. 19.7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. I'm telling you, the key is Cat. He takes him to another level when he's aggressive. 5 for 9 from the field for Cat, 1 for 2 from the three-point line, and 8 for 8 from the foul line, and he should have gotten at least 4 more free throws because they weren't calling shit. Gobert, excellent performance. 14 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 for 6 from the field, 6 for 7 from the line. The Gobert revenge tour is on. And then Jaden McDaniels, 9.6 boards on 3 for 7 shooting in 38 minutes. He was 0 for 2 from 3, 3 for 3 from the foul line. Then the player of the game, the man of the hour, the Ant-Man, who is ascending in what's going to be my, updated rankings after the season. 33 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. The only thing was 6 turnovers. 14 for 24 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3. Only 1 for 2 from the line, which is insane. He should have gotten way more free throws. But for the Suns, you need better from your role players making shots. You need better from Beal in terms of aggression. And you just need better from Booker, period. I mean, that's unacceptable for him to play like that. Anyway, Wolves win it 1-0. This was not the game for the Suns to take. Now let's end it off with, we are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. Say, go New York. Oh, well, that game was interesting, right? It was the best game of the day for me. The Knicks and the Sixers. And the first thing I'm looking at is, how does Joel Embiid look? Well, 9 points to start the game. How about that? 9 points to start the game. The matchups to start: Tyrese Maxey on DiVincenzo, Kyle Lowry on Josh Hart, Joel Embiid on Isaiah Hartenstein, Kelly Oubre on Jalen Brunson, Tobias Harris on OG Anunoby. On the other side, Isaiah against Embiid, OG on Maxey, Josh Hart on Tobias Harris, DiVincenzo on Kelly Oubre, and then Jalen Brunson on Lowry. Both bigs were in drop coverage. Embiid, 9 points to start the game, and he caught the ball in the post and was aggressive. And that showed me that Joel Embiid was feeling pretty good. So he looked much sharper than the Miami game. And the first thing I was thinking was like, oh, looks like he's going to be the best player in the series, and that's going to make things much tougher than a 2 versus 7 normally would be. And then to start the game, Kelly, and this actually was kind of the case all game, but Kelly Oubre did such a good job on Brunson. I mean, his defense was ridiculous. He was getting steals left and right. Not necessarily on Brunson, but just in general, his hands in the passing lanes, just digging and taking the ball away from guys. Like, he was very impressive with his defense. But you know who else was impressive? Isaiah Hartenstein. He was doing Isaiah things. The Knicks, just like last year against Cleveland, crushed them on the boards in game 1. On the offensive glass, especially. I mean, let's see how many offensive rebounds they had. 9 for the Sixers, 23 for the Knicks. 23 offensive rebounds. They out-rebounded the Sixers 55-33. You know what I love to say? No rebounds, no rings. And that's the biggest story of this game for me. But Isaiah Hartenstein is part of that. Offensive boards, had a beautiful bounce pass to a cutter. I think it was Brunson in that first quarter. Knicks went on an 8-0 run to respond from the Sixers, going up 32-19 at one point. By the way, Nico Batum and Tyrese Maxey regarding Brunson as well, and they were doing such a good job in that first quarter. The Sixers responded to the Knicks 8-0 run with an 8-0 run of their own, Embiid had an amazing first quarter with 15 and also some great passes. And then Tyrese Maxey was also great in the first quarter as well. And this is all while Jalen Brunson is struggling. So in the first quarter, Embiid had 15 and played the whole first. Kyle Lowry basically played the whole first. Maxey had 7 points in the quarter, and the Sixers led 34-25. Jalen Brunson was 2 for 8 after one. But here's where the game changed for the Knicks. The bench. The bench made the difference. I had not seen Bojan Bogdanovic as a Knick yet, and he came in and was lighting shit up. He hit 2 threes. One was a bank in transition, and the other one was a deep wing three. Then you had Deuce McBride, the game of his life. I mean, I know he's had some better games than that, but I don't think he's had a more important game than that. I mean, that was insane. The Deuce chants from the crowd, and you want to talk about an amazing crowd? Oh my God. MSG, dude. It was so loud. I mean, is there anything better than the Knicks in the playoffs? Like, besides the Clippers in the playoffs, of course. But there's nothing better. There really isn't, objectively. The Knicks also pretty selective with their switching, not switching Bogey and Brunson onto Tyrese Maxey. But the Bogdanovic, Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson trio off the bench, I mean, that to me, they changed the whole game. Robinson's defense on Embiid was good. His shot blocking was good. His rebounding, I mean, he was just so aggressive. His one-on-one defense against Embiid. The Knicks went on an 11-1 run led by those three guys. I mean, McBride was just shocking me with his three-point shooting. I mean, there was one time he hit a step-back three. It was just absolutely nuts. In the second quarter, McBride had 13 points. 13 points. So he was a beast. By the way, Kelly Oubre was missing shots, though. Offensively, it was terrible the first 3 quarters. Just a lot of reckless decisions, overthinking stuff, missing shots. And then Tobias Harris continued from that doghouse he was in the other day, just missing everything. The rebounding battle was already bad, by the way, at halftime. 30-19 in favor of the Knicks and 10 second chance points for the Knicks at the half. So it was 46-58 Knicks at the half. They had turned the game around with those bench players. Oh, I don't know how I forgot about this. The game completely changed when Joel Embiid threw the ball off the backboard to himself in what was an insane play. One of the most crazy plays I've ever seen anyone make in a playoff game. I'm losing my mind. And he goes down hard. And my whole thought process there was, damn, he's out for the series. Like, that's it for him. Like, I can't believe he just did that. He's got to be a little more careful. He's done. Somehow, I got to give him so much credit for this. Somehow this man came back and was still playing. Unbelievable. And the Sixers made a great push when they got him back, led by Kyle Lowry in that third quarter. 12 points in the quarter for him, 2 threes, and one on a steal, and 3 free throws. So Lowry, I think he's been such a great addition for this Sixers team so far. And he had a much better postseason last year when he was healthier than in 2022 with the Heat. He played the entire third quarter. So did Kelly. They basically played their starters the entire third. Tobias Harris came out with 4 minutes to go in the quarter, and Batum came in for the rest. But Oubre, Embiid, and Lowry all played essentially the entire third quarter. And Kelly started to get going offensively. 7 points in the third. Embiid only had 5 points in the third. Didn't look as good as he did in the first half before the injury. Maxey, though, was getting going. 12 points for him in the third to go along with Lowry's 12. And Tyrese he's so fast off the bounce. It was a 15-2 run led by Lowry. And Tyrese Maxey getting downhill. I mean, it was just tough to watch. I mean, it was not tough to watch. Amazing to watch. The Knicks were trying to attack Maxey on the other end, though. But Maxey was totally standing up to the challenge on Brunson. He blocked him from behind twice in the rear view. And, I mean, Kelly Oubre, there was one point where he made a layup from Embiid and then finished off an insane Embiid assist, bounce pass up the floor and made a 3. So that was the 7 points from Kelly Oubre. But the Sixers had a 36-21 third quarter. 36-21. So they got right back in the game. Had the lead going into the fourth. But the fourth quarter, so the home crowd comes in, baby. So the home crowd comes in. The offensive rebounding gave the Knicks so many second chances. Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart at the forefront. And again, it was Bogdanovic and Deuce McBride coming in and making an impact. Deuce McBride, I mean, what more can I say about the guy? What an insane performance. What an insane performance. He only had 5 points second half, but it was so impactful. Mitchell Robinson had 6 points and 8 rebounds and 2 blocks in the second half alone. I think the Knicks might have the best center rotation in the league. I mean, them and the Timberwolves are like right there. But Oubre's defense was really impressing me on the other side of things. So much so. Buddy Hield hadn't really done anything. He was not really contributing much. But here's how the game really ended. Brunson, one thing I love about Brunson is despite the fact that he was shooting so badly, he was staying aggressive. And that's the thing with this Knicks team is they just do not have a creator outside of Brunson, and they don't have Randall right now. And you know, I really do think Randall is a big loss in this playoffs. I mean, maybe they don't lose to Philadelphia, but like they can't. They have a real ceiling without Randall. Like they need another guy. You can't just have one real great creator and win a championship or compete and go to the conference finals. Like it's not feasible. It's just not. Brunson played almost the entire second half. Josh Hart played the entire second half. Brunson only sat 2 minutes and 8 seconds, but Josh Hart, man, oh my God. He was the story of the game in the fourth. 3 huge threes. I mean, they were letting him shoot all night. That was their whole plan was like, as the game went on, sag off of Josh Hart and get ready to help on Brunson and give credit to Brunson. He's still getting that attention. He's making the right plays. He's trusting his teammates. And Josh Hart made 2 huge threes. Then the third one was just ridiculous. He just like flung it up there. And I think it was to beat the shot clock. It was just crazy. Josh Hart, and he was rebounding. He had 13 points in the fourth and 4 rebounds on 3 for 5 shooting and 3 for 4 from 3. Hart, Robinson, and McBride played the entire fourth quarter. And how about Deuce McBride playing the entire fourth? As far as the Sixers, Joel Embiid just didn't really seem to have lift, and you started to see more of that old Embiid in the playoffs where he doesn't look 100%. He's catching the ball too high. It's all jump shots, no post-ups, no nothing, and everything is short. One time he did get a turnaround, and it was, again, from the mid-range, and it was short. So he was struggling, man. I just didn't have the same lift after that injury, but I hope he's okay. OG Anunoby made a huge 3, and that basically sealed the game. But yeah, big win for the Knicks, and it was the depth to me and the rebounding that came through. So 111-104 for the Knicks. It felt like a chance for Philly to steal, I'm not going to lie. But we'll see what happens in game 2. I think I'm feeling pretty good about the Knicks winning this series just because Embiid's not 100%. If Embiid was, this would be a battle. And it's still going to be a battle. It was the best first game. Sixers shot 44% from the field. By the way, they got outscored 32-22 in the fourth. So that was the difference in the end. They shot 44% from the field, 34% from 3, 91% from the line. They went 9 deep and only got 7 points off the bench. Buddy Hield played 11 minutes and was 0 for 2 with a donut. He was a -16. Cam Payne played just 3 minutes and had a donut. Paul Reed, 4 points, 5 boards on 2 for 3 shooting. Some impressive finishes in 11 minutes. Nico Batum, I wish he had made some shots. He was 1 for 4 from 3, and those were all his shots, and he got good looks. He should have made more than one. 3 points for him. He was a -20. Jesus Christ. All Sixers starters played 31 or more minutes. Tobias Harris played the least, and he finally started making some shots in the fourth, but just not nearly good enough. 7 shot attempts. Are you fucking kidding? Come on, dude. This is always been the problem with Tobias, his lack of aggression. 7 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, 3 for 7 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. And then you had Kyle Lowry. What a very solid game to me. He hit his part. 18 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, a steal and a block. Just 1 turnover, 5 for 9 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the line. And then Kelly Oubre. His defense was exceptional. He's going to be a little smarter offensively. I don't know if he can, though. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals, and a block. He was everywhere on defense. Did such a good job on Brunson. 3 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 for 4 from the line. The rear view contest was just amazing. It felt like he was going to get a block every time. And then Maxey and Embiid. Maxey, he was my player of the game. I think they had to run the offense through him more late. They were running through Embiid every time. A lot of that pick and pop with Embiid and Maxey, and the Knicks at times were switching that, which is very problematic, really. But the Sixers, Embiid, I don't know how much you can take advantage of it right now. And then, sometimes they'll just rotate. Sixers would move the ball. So it's 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. I thought he was very good, but that's just not good enough because 8 for 22 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3. He went cold. Let me see what he went in the fourth. 0 for 5. So there you go. We've seen that before with Embiid because he's always injured in the playoffs. Maxey, though, 33 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers on 14 for 26 shooting, 3 for 9 from 3, 2 for 2 from the foul line in 44 minutes. He was magnificent. I mean, he's amazing. His finishing is unbelievable. 8-man rotation for the Knicks. Isaiah Hardenstein played the least, and I thought he was actually really good. 6 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks on 1 for 4 shooting. He just missed a couple of chippies, but he's going to make those. 4 for 4 from the line in 18 minutes. To the bench, Mitchell Rob. Oh, man. DiVincenzo played the least amount of minutes after Hardenstein, actually. 24 minutes, 8 points. Didn't shoot very well. 3 for 10 from the field. 2 for 5 from 3, though. He'll take that. And then Bogdanovich. What a performance off the bench in his first playoff game as a Knick. 13 points, 7 boards on 4 for 12 shooting. Didn't feel like 4 for 12. 3 for 6 from 3. Felt like that. 2 for 4 on the foul line in 25 minutes. Thought he was awesome. Gave them the offensive boost they needed. And then Deuce McBride. I'd say he's my player of the game, honestly, but Josh Hart has a case as well. 21. Oh my God. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna go with McBride. 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal on 7 for 12 shooting, 5 for 7 from 3. Gave them the offensive ignition when they needed it in the first half. And I haven't seen a plus minus like this in a while. Plus 37. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. He's my guy, player of the game. Mitchell Robinson, very solid performance as well. 8 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, and 4 blocks on 3 for 5 shooting, 2 for 2 from the foul line in 30 minutes. He was awesome off the bench. All 3 of those guys were. And then the other guys, OG Anunoby made the big 3 that sealed the game. And again, it was coming from Brunson's attention, and the crowd was deafening, it sounded like, when he made that. 11 points, 4 rebounds for OG, 5 for 10 from the field, and 1 for 3 from 3. To be honest, though, I didn't see his presence as much defensively. So we'll see next game. Josh Hart, 22 points, 13 boards, 4 of those offensive, 2 assists and a steal on 5 for 12 shooting, 4 for 8 from 3, 8 for 10 from the foul line. So how about that? Getting to the foul line. Josh Hart was amazing. Just such a great extra effort guy to have, and was the player of the game in game 1 last year too. So give him credit for being so clutch. And then Jalen Brunson, 22, 7 and 7. 5 turnovers, 8 for 26 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3, 5 for 6 from the line. And that's the scary part. Brunson's going to play better. So the Knicks, I think they're in a pretty good spot. And I still think Brunson didn't play that bad because he was being aggressive, constantly putting pressure on the defense, making them show help, and that allowed his other guys to make shots. So 111 and 104, the Knicks win it. That's it for me in this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the thorough breakdown of all 4 games. And tonight, I don't know if I'll be live. I got to do Locked On Clippers later, but I'll probably be live, talk about every game, honestly. And there'll be a vlog of game 1 of the playoffs tonight on the channel. Peace out, everybody. Now to the live subscribers.